All right, welcome all. Welcome to our Wake Up USA moment and living the best year ever. Every month we do different themes, and this entire month we do this money manifestation. And as part of this, and even in addition to that, we always encourage everyone to read books. At least we have been doing this every Friday as a book breakthrough, and started a long ago. And that case, like at least even if you read one book a week, yeah, and it would be 52 books every year, yeah, and the more and more we read certain best books are the better are the bestseller books, which has been celebrated by millions of people. Yeah. So today we are going to discuss about one such amazing book. Yeah. It's called Psycho-Cybernetics, as you could see it in the screen. Yeah. It's one of the internationally best-selling classics, and this is one of the very powerful books written by a very experienced plastic surgeon. It's like Dr. Maxwell Maltz. So he also turned himself as a self-help author, motivational speaker. And this book was written based on his experience. There is an interesting story behind, how this book evolved, right? So this book was written sometime in late 1950s, and I think it was published in 1960. And the book, it helped, it will help, and it is going to help every individual whomever reads through this book, especially those who are looking for a massive shift in their life. And the background about this book was, so Dr. Maltz used to do the plastic surgeon work. And maybe, these days the plastic surgeon means more of, the beauty modifications, and people do different things like, changing the shape of the face or the nose or cheeks or whatever, right, or lips and various things. And during those times, during his time, started as people, who have gone through this, fire accidents, or, people who had that some sort of, birth challenges. Some people, will have a certain different shape, and people did not have that kind of, confidence. They've always been identified by the, body or the face in a different way, or they tend to compare with others and then, feeling low, yeah, for whatever reason. And he has done several successful plastic surgeon work that time. And then he realized one thing while studying, all his past patients. Even though the surgery was very successful, and he could bring a great, shift outside, like the look wise, appearance wise, but still those patients always had some sort of, self-doubt, or they were not really happy, and internally they were not able to change because they tend to compare and feel low. And then he started creating some groundbreaking ideas. Yes, really revolutionized in the field of self-help by inspiring generations of readers through this book. And he put together all his experiences of how someone can really overcome any sort of obstacles, how they can really achieve their goals, how they can really live a very fulfilling life. And there are certain core steps, he started bringing it out through this book after, years and years of research. And then this book has become a very timeless wisdom in a way that, anybody who want to really unlock their fullest potential, transform their life into a greater way, started, referring to this book. So this is a very, very powerful book. Let me just talk about what is this Psycho-Cybernetics. Yeah. So first we'll talk about what is cybernetics, right? So the word cybernetics has been widely used more from the structural change, right, in the mechanical field, for example, or I won't call it just as a mechanical. For example, I'll give another beautiful example of the cybernetics, especially when assume that I'm going to travel from Washington DC to India. When I say just India, I cannot just say, or I cannot really land in India in a kind of common place somewhere, right? I have to be very specific. Okay, can I say maybe I'm going to South India? No. And which city? And even within that city, where exactly you need to go? So you need to get that kind of precision, right? In case even when the flight needs to travel from one place to other place, it has to first land off. I mean, basically, like it needs to take off from the earth, right? And then whatever the gravitation force in which the earth is rotating, it has to take a total opposite force, right? That means it needs a different kind of acceleration momentum. And then there are certain mechanics, certain structural, certain triggers needs to be worked on. And even if there is a 1% change in that, so instead of landing in Chennai, I might land in New Delhi or in maybe Maldives or maybe Sri Lanka or maybe in Singapore or Malaysia. Why not, right? So what we need to do is, so we need to give a very clear, specific precision, right, to land. The same way, when you want to create some goal and you want to achieve that goal and you want to get to reach that in a specific place, so you need to have a clarity. If you don't have a clarity on where we want to go, where we want to land, then it's going to create a lot of challenges. Many times people don't achieve their goal because they lack in the clarity, in creating a clarity. And the better and better clarity we have, the better and better the probability is so high that we will reach that. So it starts with the kind of the clarity on the goal. And once you get the clarity, how we can really structure it, what are the different internal work we can do, similar to the field of cybernetics in external world. How about that psycho-cybernetics talks about how we can do that kind of internal work? Yeah, internally, how do we look at ourselves? What sort of clarity we have, even though there are certain, similar to that example of what the patients have gone through their internal trauma, even though that externally everything is fixed, but internally they're not able to do it, because as we say even in our energy coaching sessions, right, wherever we go, we take us. Wherever you go, you take you. And that you, in case if it is not having the right image, right self-image, yeah, in case if it is not cultivated a strong and positive self-image by affirming the specific capability, we all have tremendous knowledge, and if that knowledge is not converted into skills, which is nothing but a capability, so that you'd be able to focus on your entire strength to achieve what you can achieve. Yeah. So this book, listen carefully on few element, and don't just look at as doctor's perceptions or certain pointers. See that how you can really relate it with your goal. Yeah. And in that case, we'll be able to grab the most out of the book, right? All right. So in the chapter 1, he talks about the self-image. The self-image is the key to live life without any limit. In case if the self-image has certain limit. So we need to really understand what is self-image. So as we always see ourselves in the mirror outside, there's always a mirror inside too. Yeah. It's a psychological mirror. When people look at themselves, it's not about what others think about you or what you think about others. It's about what you think about you is going to have a very big shift, very big understanding about the life. And how one person can see himself or herself as a confident, capable, like I said, as a knowledgeable was able to do with the can-do approach, and then will be able to achieve that success. Many times, it happens to the majority of the people that they don't have the right self-image. So, how we can really explore the role of self-image in our success? And many times, if people do not believe what they are capable of, then they destine their success, they land somewhere else. Yeah. Like I said, unless we have a super duper clarity. I'm again, bringing the example of seeing yourself in a mirror. As long as the mirror is super clean and clear, the environment is clear and where you are able to see yourself very clearly. The same way you want to have that kind of, if you have a clarity on your goal, in spite of any challenges, in spite of any obstacles or any other environmental help, we can always, achieve it. Yeah. So the self-image plays a very big role in a way that how we can really be persistent about achieving the goal, in spite of any shortfalls. Yeah. So, for example, these affirmations. Yeah, there's one way of affirming ourselves that yeah, I'm a successful entrepreneur, I'm a successful professional, or I'm a happy and successful whatever role you wanted to really play or whatever the goal you wanted to set for yourself, so that we can continue reinforcing and creating that kind of very powerful self-image. So it all starts with that. The more and more people start working on it, and then we'll be able to get a super duper clarity around the life. So in the second chapter, he talks about how we can really discover the success mechanism. Like I said, the cybernetics is a kind of mechanism. It's a physical mechanism in a way that, you make certain machinery to work in a particular way, right? The same way, how we can really activate that internal mechanism, the internal success mechanism, so that, we can create more opportunity. It's not just about finding opportunity, right? It's about, creating the opportunity for ourselves, for our success. And how we are not really lack of resources. We are resourceful. And knowing that, one person is very resourceful, and then would be able to find whatever it takes, and no matter what mindset, and then get it done, right? So are there any techniques in activating the success mechanism? Yeah, this book talks about it, across, whether it is affirmation or a visualization, the number of ways. Especially the visualization is super powerful. The more and more you visualize yourself as an achieving person. For example, it's something like this, right? If you want to achieve certain height, you need to have a picture of that. You need to tell your mind that, no, what does it mean? Like, what, I mean, in case if you want to get to the hiking, right? You want to have a view that is the final target, what you wanted to achieve. And then once you fix it, rather thinking that, you wanted to achieve that, and this is the achievement picture which is there in your mind, you continue visualizing it. It's something like a movie, like a mental movie, which is just, running that, you're already celebrating it, or already experiencing the sense of accomplishing, whatever you wanted to achieve. That promotes certain triggers, that triggers that kind of success mechanism within us, so that it can identify the steps to make it happen. And once you are firm with your decision of where you want to go, that the entire universe or entire resources, your mind can even start thinking about it, doing about it, because your focus is so clear. It's something like a GPS. You put the address, and no matter what, you will reach it. Even if you miss certain exits, right? You get diverted or you get distracted, but still, you would be able to bring back the momentum and then, go reach out it, right? So then in the third chapter, author talks about the imagination. We have seen through many other books also, right? The power of imagination. Many times people use the imagination to worry, to stop their growth themselves, or due to any other external comments, they get discouraged or whatever. But if you can really harness the power of imagination within us, so we would be able to do that kind of journey. One example I can give is the people in the game field, right? The athletes, or people who are into any game. I can say that if you want to achieve that goal, you want to just do some sort of mental image to yourself, and you visualize and how you really overcome those obstacles, how you really win through, and then achieve that. So it's about the visualizing really delivers some sort of presentation for yourself, that this is how you want to do it. So that automatically helps to come out of any such anxiety or fear or a self-doubt, so that it can completely just take you to the most optimum path or most optimum performance. So we can do through this or through multiple ways, either you create that kind of mental images, like I said, the affirmation, or even creating a vision board, and with the kind of images of your much desired results or the goals, so that it can stimulate your imagination all the time, and it will keep you completely inspired to achieve what you wanted to set, right? So you can have some sort of mental rehearsal. For example, people who want to give their a speech, like a public speaking, or they want to get through certain job interview, right? So this mental rehearsal helps you before you achieve the actual one. You already practice multiple times internally. That's what the Psycho-Cybernetics is talking about, right? The human being are psychological, not just logical. It's a psycho plus logical, right? So that means something to do with that internal psychology, internal mind. So once you win through the mind game, you can even win through the money game. You can win through the life game. Then in the chapter 4, he talks about many people are hypnotized with a false belief, doubt, and lack of clarity or overwhelmness, and many ways, right? Ultimately, they think so small or so low. And how we can really dehypnotize that thought means whatever that internal dialogue, inner noise, which is just creating that, okay, it's not enough, or having the false belief just because no one has achieved it. But if you look at it, all these discoveries, inventions, why we give a lot of credits to the people who achieve this, right? Means like they go over and beyond whatever others could not see, and they could really see it. I'm not talking only from the science field, but in every field, I can say. So how we can really dehypnotize oneself in a way that, for example, like rather someone is thinking that they are not worthy, say that I am worthy of my success. To counteract or kind of, to break the old pattern or old belief so that you get out of this negative self-talk all the time. Yeah, you replace it. And so that, and also seeking the feedback or giving the feedback to yourself, and every day in every way, how we really could improve, like, gaining that right skills and practicing it and continue working on it. And then, you are reframing that self-limiting belief so that you can achieve something greater, bigger. Yeah. So in the chapter 5, he's talking about how someone can really overcome when we consume many data, a lot of analysis paralysis, right? And then people either get into the no decision mode instead of deciding something solid. So bringing that kind of rational thinking, questioning mind, and seeking the advice from coaches or mentors, to gain the different perspective of looking at the life, different perspective of looking at the decision. Yeah. And basically, this is really going to help someone. Is it really true? Yeah. If something is not happening, for example, in your life, and you want to really question, so what else? Yeah, what next? Yeah, you remember that tool? So we can always look back and then start a total fresh new beginning and get it done. So this rational thinking always helps you to even identify what are the pros and cons, and how we can really create that kind of a lot of possibilities in a way that you have multiple choices, options to make the decision on which is right, so that you can just do that, right? Exactly that. Then it also talks about why someone is getting into that kind of anxiety feel. Yeah, it could happen because there are a lot of internal self dialogue I was talking about. So how someone can really silence the mind, silence that inner noises. So the author talks about the power of relaxation. Take regular breaks in between whenever you get into that a lot of noise, rather fighting with those noises inside or outside. Yeah, you wanna relax. That's a very big power of relaxation in the success. So how we can really be silent and relax ourselves. Even for example, you can just lie down or sit in the chair, then close your eyes, just go within, like from head to the toes. You just say relax, 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 and you get that, because body has a mind in it, mind has a body in it, and how we can really induce or induct the mind to relax so that it can think clearly. So we can do this multiple practices, like practicing the gratitude you're really grateful for, or even having that kind of mindfulness, practical mindfulness, or a meditation. in a way that it can reduce or eliminate the stress, and it can promote a better and greater mental clarity around it. And you want to just, get settled so that you can engage the mind in the right habit. Yeah. You can also do multiple things, in addition to the silence and the relaxation techniques, that, create or cultivate certain hobby where you are really deeply passionate about. Could be the painting, and now it's a gardening season. You can do the garden, especially in US East Coast sites. Yeah. Get a better lighting, better sunlight, and better weather for that. Yeah. And how we can really unwind and recharge you and get yourself busy in a very common cool activities. Yeah. That's where we can even listen to certain frequency of music. Yeah. And that way you can really, I would even say that, these are the kind of external, that means you allow some external things to do it, like reading a book and all these things. But more importantly, listening to your own insight and your own intuitive power, and then silence it, so that when you are silent, then the divine starts speaking to you, right? Even psychologically, it gets that kind of super duper mental clarity. So then in the chapter 7, he talks about how we can really free the creative power of your imagination. Yeah, now we practice the silence or the relaxation, and then the mind is really ready to soar. Yeah, to think big and do something solid, greater, and for which you want to train the mind, how we can really tap up the creativity within us. So you can do number of ways, through brainstorming, through journaling, through generating the ideas. We do this Power 6 every day here as part of Angel coaching, right? And generating those innovations, innovative ideas for what you wanted to accomplish. There are always number of ways you can generate the internal ideas and enhance that creative part of your imagination. So you can visualize the different scenarios, how we can really solve that particular problem or a kind of challenge, how we can really overcome from multiple, allowing yourself a multiple perspective of it. If you're in that kind of limiting belief, limiting mindset, and mind just gets into a smaller area, whereas when you saw this creative side of you, and then you'd be able to just go look at, by stimulating that kind of creativity, you'd be able to look at the best possible options and then take one by one, right? So you want to really dedicate some time for journaling out your thoughts, right? Or number of ways you can really enhance that creative power. And in the next chapter, author talks about how we can really turn the crisis into a creative opportunity. People, when they look at the way they look at the adversity, when the perception shifts, life shifts, right? When the awareness expands, life expands. And how we can really learn from the past mistakes or past failures, and how we can refine your strategy for the future success. Yeah. How we can find out some unique thing of how to do or how not to do. You can always learn through your things, and how we can really transform that crisis into an opportunity. Yeah. Like during the COVID season, there are many businesses like they lost their business, people. But also during the same COVID, there are many people who have been super extremely successful because they looked at it differently. They used that adversity as an opportunity. They learned something new. That means, let me say this, right? If there are new problems, you want to look at it as that there are new opportunities to fix those problems. Of course, you can learn from the past for the similar problem. But what if it is a new challenge, which you have never faced that? That means it's a new opportunity to listen, understand, to apply your skill and to continue going, right? The same way. It's an opportunity to look into the different avenues of, a new pathway. You can even create a total different different pathway of success, different pathways of, new opportunities. Then the author talks about how to get that feel of winning, the winning feeling, right? So the more and more confident we are, the more and more optimistic way of, looking at things. So we would be able to boost the confidence and have that, winning feel. I was giving an example, right? So when you take that thing, just look at the final outcome, like Stephen Covey says in his book also. Begin with the end in mind. Right? Begin with the end outcome in mind, and then celebrate it. And let it really enhance the self-belief so that you are also surrounding yourself with those kind of, supportive friends or right books, right environment. Then the environment really, builds. And even, having and celebrating that success with your family and bringing that kind of, feel so that it can really uplift. Again, it can do the pattern. You'd be able to, break the old pattern and then start a new success pattern, right? Then in the last, couple of chapters, we'll just see, and then any questions also will cover. So then brings the concept of, how we can really live more years in our life. Adding more life in your years, right? In your life, in your age. It's not just about growing in the age, but growing with what? With more fulfillment, more joy, more success, more gratitude. For more complaining or being a victim, like how we can get into a, with a sense of what is doable, what are the different ways, you really start having that fulfillment, that attitude towards aging. How you really look at that rising number? Is it really scaring you, or is it really having, wow, I have lived and I have that, upcoming opportunity, to live and lead a better life, being more healthy and fit, more happier than before, more peaceful. This, foundation 5 we talk about, right? So how we can have a constructive way of, looking at, so being more loving and lovable, being more peaceful and sharing and spreading the peace around us, and how we can really be healthy. What are the ways, we can be more happier, and how we can really have a meaningful life. So what are the different ways? That means, setting that, bigger goals, whatever you have been really pushing it or postponing it, procrastinating it, how we can really get that, or how we can really learn that new skill, so that you'll have a total different way of doing this, or even volunteering into something, volunteering for our agile coaching or our other initiatives, or in your local community, whatever, right? So whereas you look at the life in a overall holistic success, and many of these topics, if you see it, even though we have already been doing it, at least in the agile coaching, whomever has been taking this journey for a long time, right? For years together, been doing it. All right. So then author talks about the search for happiness. What is the nature of understanding the happiness? What is the real nature? Many times people get confused. That's what he talks about the next chapter also, about the success and happiness. They look at it as two different things. If they want to achieve the success, then only be happy. That means they are postponing the success or happiness. Again, all successful people may not be happy people, but all happy people are successful people, you can say. Yeah. But again, success, you need to again have that right understanding of it. Happiness, you want to really have the right understanding of it. So you can find the joy in even every simple, small things in our life. And, celebrating the life with the loving ones in the family, outside. How we can really enjoy the nature, how we can really just cultivate the sense of gratitude, like I was talking about, and having the right mindset about it. So that rather looking at what is not working, what is lacking, and looking at what is possible. And what are the different ways we can really engage our mind in a right way? Living in the present and setting a very meaningful goal and living by that, and enhancing your personal values, the value system. So that way, would be able to create the right balance in life, so that your personal well-being is taken care, you're living a fulfilling life. And that's how we want to really define it, basically. What is your definition of life? Don't let others to define for you. Define for yourself that in a way that you live that kind of rich quality life, what you wanted. Yeah. And take the right, support if needed. And that way, we'll be able to enhance that kind of happiness, fulfillment, and live. So even for those who are just listening, or a kind of we'll just see a kind of quick summary. So one is about what sort of internal mechanism we wanted to have. That's what it's a psycho part of the cybernetics. So you want to build that kind of, for which we need to build or develop a right self-image. So we can continue focusing on the strength rather than the weaknesses by continue working on it. And then how we can really activate the success mechanism in a way that getting a super duper clarity around goal. You say we did this goal setting exercise, right? Especially on in the area of finance, for example, or even in health, like everywhere, you want to get into this precision. For example, if you want to lose some weight, in becoming or building a healthy and fit body, you need to have a clarity around what is the weight, specific weight you wanted to get, and have an image of it in your mind, or set a vision board, or a visualization, or an affirmation, and various other ways, or journaling about it, or getting deeper into it, and then doing. Okay. So long story short, and then so build a self-image, powerful, right self-image, and activate your success mechanism through all these tools and techniques, so that you are activating your subconscious mind's success mechanism. And how we can really harness our power of imagination, power of creativity. And then how we can challenge the false or wrong belief, or self-doubting belief, or self-limiting belief, which have been hindering the performance. And then how we can really replace them with the right and empowering thoughts, empowering belief, empowering actions. Then there is a way of practicing the relaxation, because the more and more relaxation you do it, either through the deep breathing, meditation, or silence, are doing certain lesser activities, like which will reduce your stress or anxiety and then enhancing your productivity, or being part of this sort of masterminds. Yeah, the number of ways can get into it. And then how we can really encourage that kind of the mental rehearsal activities, or the brainstorming and exploring and idea generations. Yeah, those are the ways you can foster the creativity side of it. Then the other key takeaways I can say, and it could even differ person to person, but the majority, if you can really pay attention since beginning, you can see that how we can really turn that adversity into opportunity, how we can really reframe the same challenge, but stepping into a different stones of success. Yeah. And then how we can really cultivate the sense of confidence and celebrating. Even when you look back, you want to really look back those moments of, the survival, surpassing the past success, celebrating it, rejoicing it, and repeating that kind of an empowering discussion within us. And then how we can really integrate the success and happiness. Yeah, these are not fragmented or separated one, but rather these are all interconnected ones. And we can find the right balance so that we can pursue our goals and dreams in all areas of life, including relationship, money. Yeah. Yep. So with that note, we'll conclude. Unless any of you have any questions or any other takeaways, we'll just take a quick pointers and then we'll conclude today's session. Yeah, anybody can unmute and share. Yeah. Yeah, feel free to buy this book and then read through it. Yeah. Yeah, any of you wanna share your takeaway? All right. So there are many of these work, especially our existing Agile tribe members, definitely be practicing it day and day. Yeah. So in case if any of you are new listening to it, yeah, feel free to jump in and take this massive, amazing shift, the journey of greatness. Yeah. To live a happy, healthy, harmonious, wealthy, abundant, and freedom lifestyle. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Then we'll conclude today's session.